Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Oliver Chaplain once again with Kalam Kanisa podcast. And I'm so happy, I'm so blessed to come to you once again with yet a special guest with me in the studio. And my guest today is somebody who's dear to me. And he is one of the people who are inspiring our generation. He is a blessing to this generation. He is a youth leader. He is an executive director of an NGO. He will tell us more about it shortly. And he is also an IT geek, if I may use this term. And today, without any further ado, please allow me to welcome Ebenezer Emiliano. You're highly welcome in Kalam Kanisa podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on the Kalam Kanisa podcast. I'm
Good to
glad
have
be
you.
here.
Good to have you. It's an honor for us to have you here, my brother.
It is more of an honor to me being here.
Right. Tell us something about Ebenezer, because you are a multi. I don't know. You are everything. Okay. You are so many things in one person. All right. And but one of the side of you that I like is the leadership side. But tell us more about Ebenezer. Who is Ebenezer?
I'm called Ebenezer Gore Emiliano Nyigilovani.
Okay.
That is my full name.
Right.
And I may somehow disagree with you in saying I am everything.
You're most of the things.
Or in so many things.
Right.
But by profession, I am an IT engineer.
Right.
And by training, I am a journalist.
Oh, okay.
A content creator.
Wow.
And by talent, I am a singer.
Okay.
This is a skill or the gift that God has given me. I can write songs, compose songs, and sing. Although I haven't been in the music industry for quite a long time due to some other commitment, but that person is still there in me.
Mm-hmm.
That is why, in one way or the other, I'm still involved in supporting gospel music in this country.
Mm-hmm.
By the grace of God, I lead an organization called Bridging the Gap Organization. It is a faith-based organization, and we are trying to help young people, not just young people, but people in general, to experience and share love and to become responsible citizens and change makers. And that's what we are trying to do in as far as Brig is concerned. I also run what I call the Ebenezer Show, a platform that help young people to tell their stories, and also not just young people, but those at the top, or we can say leaders or elders, to share their stories of success, and not just stories of success, but also stories of things they went through in life, in order to inspire young people. So you can see most of my work has to do with young people.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. You're also a youth leader, are you?
Yes, I am a youth leader in our church.
Mm-hmm.
I come from Sudan Pentecostal Church, and we have about 12 local churches in Juba. And I am the leader of a youth office in what we call Juba area. Juba area board means I'm responsible for youth in about 12 local churches here in Juba.
In Juba.
Yeah.
Wow. You have more experience with youths. And there is one thing a statement I hear from our fathers in the faith. And they're kind of like disappointed with the youth of today. And I hear them say something like, in our time, them speaking, like in our time, we did not have all the privileges that you guys have right now. The technology in our time was not the way it used to be right now. Nobody laid a foundation to us. Nobody told us what to do. We found our way out. But you guys today, you are lucky You have us. We laid the foundation for you, and you are not. It's like we're not meeting the expectation. It's like there is something. What is wrong with our youth today? In terms of commitment, in terms of being serious, like we have the resources, but it's like we don't have this. It's like, I mean, are you getting me?
Yes, yes.
We have the resources. We have all that it takes to succeed or to do what we ought to do. But it's for some reason we're not doing. There is this laziness and procrastination among the youth. What is wrong with us?
Thank you for this question. Some years back, I was seated with some of the church leaders.
Right.
I went to meet one of the pastors, but he was not around, so I had to spend time with the pastors, and they were having a general conversation. However, one of them started attacking young people. And he was telling me the same issues that you're raising now.
Right.
The youth of this time are not serious. During our time, there was revival, there was fire.
Right.
There were a lot of activities going on, but the youth of today is really not doing enough, and you could really see a kind of disappointment. However, with that pastor, it was not necessarily a disappointment. He was even speaking in such a way that portrays him mocking
the youth.
And I was silent, but the guy wanted me to talk. And so I had to respond on behalf of all the young people. And I told him, Abuna, we are there. We are not dead. We are not inactive. We are active. And he was like, when yeah, you guys are not working. I kept my cool because I knew if I was to give the kind of answer that was in my head,
you might offend him.
Yeah, they will get offended. Our leaders or elders have that tendency of getting offended when you speak the truth. But I actually wanted to tell him, the reason why you were strong, why you were doing great things is because during your time, you had leaders who were really concerned about your spiritual, physical, and even they were concerned about the sheep. The young people of today don't have the same care, the same shepherding, the same concern from their leaders the way you used to have. So I wanted to challenge him, okay, now that you are a pastor, why are these youth suffering? The problem is the generational gap is very serious.
Right.
I can personally say there is nothing wrong with the youth of today.
Right.
They are in a position to do great things. But the problem that we have is with the generational gap. And the young people here, okay, let me bring an example. I was also attending a conference. NCA was celebrating 40 years of service.
Right.
And they brought all the youth leaders from different churches. And they were having a conversation about the future of the church. So the elders of the church were so much worried about the future of the church.
Right.
Why? Because the youth of today, they don't want to join seminary for the Catholic Church. They don't want to join theological colleges.
Right.
And they have their own concern about that. So the problem is those young people, they have the desire, they have the passion to come close to their leaders. But our leaders, their perception about these young people is different. There is a misunderstanding. If I raise this youth, they may take over my position, or they will come and do much more better than in. The problem is on the other side. The problem is with our leaders and elders. There is, I think, that sense of insecurity of raising new leaders. When they were young, there was that person
right
from the older generation to raise leaders. But here we are trying, but mostly on our own.
There's an issue because of the distractions that we have in this generation, and the resources that we have available. Do you think we as youth we have missed the mark somewhere? Because today, when I look at it from the other side of the coin, some youth in the church, they're not even appreciating what the fathers did. All right. Some of our fathers here today in the faith, some of them have never been to school because of the gospel. All right. Some of them have sacrificed their lives. Of course, in those days, there was this gospel that say, all right, don't go to school. Jesus is coming soon. Preach the gospel and all that. All right. So if they did not do what they have done, I'm sure we would not be here today in this position that we are in the church. That issue of honor, do you think we have, because this is what I'm seeing among us sometimes, we lack that honor. I don't know whether because a father is not educated, could this be the reason? But you will find somebody who grew up in a church, and then all of a sudden they are exposed to the technology, and they have access to other fathers in faith from different countries. All of a sudden, you are my father, you're not my father anymore. All of a sudden, I have more knowledge than you anymore. All of a sudden, you fall from my eyes, and I just lose that level of respect and honor. Could this be the reason why the fathers are insecure?
To be honest, we can agree that we have access to knowledge and to so many resources now than our
fathers,
leaders used to have. And the problem is not with the resources that we have. The problem is not with the technology that we have. The problem is not with the media facilities that we have. But the problem is with misusing those technologies and those resources that we have.
Right.
Let me ask you even a question. So many years ago, our leaders were very good in follow-up, for example.
Yes.
My father, my biological father, once told me the reason why he remained a believer was because of follow-up.
Right.
I can tell you that it is more easier to do follow-up now than it was in 90s.
Right.
You can agree, because now there is Facebook, there is Messenger, there is WhatsApp. It is easy to follow up a believer now than it was before. So we don't blame the resources that we have. But there is no connection. The family at the family level. And when I talk at the family level, I'm talking at the church level.
Yes.
Because we are talking about Kalam Kanisa.
Right.
There is not that intimate connections between this young believer and his pastor or his elder. So there is not that concern.
Right.
And he wants that concern. Remember, we should put it clearly. These are the sheep.
Yes. And these are the shepherds.
You are the shepherd.
Yes.
Jesus said to Peter, if you love me, feed my sheep. if you love me, take care of my sheep.
Yes.
There is a certain level of love that God expects from a shepherd.
Right.
You as a pastor or a leader in the church, you express your love to God by how you take care of his sheep.
Yes.
Now, when the sheep does not experience that care, that concern, they look for somewhere else. They look for alternative.
Right.
And that alternative, Brother Oliver, is so they go to internet.
Mm-hmm.
So they find pastors in South Africa, in Kenya, in Nigeria, and who seems to have the kind of content or the kind of care that they are looking for.
Right.
Once that happens, the biggest problem with our youth of today
Mm-hmm.
is they start despising
Exactly.
their leaders.
Right.
So you start comparing your leaders
With
your
that.
leader in a local church
Mm-hmm.
and compare him with someone in South Africa or in Nigeria or in other place.
Right.
And you think that one is better. That one is taking care of me. That one
Right.
is responding maybe to my email or to my questions online. So this is my spiritual father. And this is no longer a spiritual father. That is the disagreement that I have with so many people. You don't choose a father.
Right. Right.
And you cannot even change
A father.
a father.
Mm-hmm.
You can have so many people who contributed, who make an
To your
impact
growth.
in your life so
Yes.
that you become successful in life. And all of them are very important. You are now a university graduate.
Yes.
You don't honor or you don't respect your lecturer in the university more than that one who taught you in primary school.
Of course.
I studied in JCC, and until now, my teachers they are those who taught me in primary school. Without them,
Right.
I will have no chance to be lectured by Indians.
Right.
So I am so much concerned about these issues of us really not honoring our leaders. You cannot justify this even from the scripture. You will have no basis
Yes.
to disrespect or to despise the work that your fathers here
Yes.
have done to you. And that is the one problem that we have. With this regard, this is one of the issues that I have been thinking about
Mm-hmm.
In my church.
Yes.
We have the founder of Sudan Pentecostal Church.
Yes.
You have
Who's
probably
Benjamin
heard of him,
Terra.
Benjamin Terra.
Right.
You cannot talk about he is the father of Pentecostalism in the entire Sudan.
In the entire Sudan, yes. Yes.
So I want, even before I could become a leader, I
Mm-hmm.
once gathered the young people. I tell them, you guys, our leaders are here,
Mm-hmm.
and soon they will not be here.
Yes.
Why are we not thinking of honoring them
Right.
with the little that we can?
That we have, yeah.
Whoever is your pastor today, wherever you are today, we have our leaders and they are very much alive. We don't even go to spend time with them so that they can talk to us about their life, their ministries. And so there are wonderful and powerful stories, life stories that we are missing. So we were able to mobilize them. I was able to mobilize them, Brother Oliver, and we did a function for them just to honor this man of God.
Right.
We chose him, and there is a pastor called Oliver Sommer.
Right.
He is the oldest pastor of JCC currently. You hear about the history of your church, and these two people are being talked about since 70s and 80s, but their being alive seems to be making no impact in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we did this, it was really a blessing.
Amen.
Those young people were able to find chance to learn things that they could not learn about their own origins and about their church.
Right.
And these people were able to release their blessings to us.
Right.
If all of us can do this in our various, you respect your leaders, respect the fact that this pastor have sacrificed his time, his effort.
Yes.
Like you were saying, some of them for sometimes left educations, not necessarily because they didn't want to study.
Of course.
Not necessarily because they thought education was not important.
Right.
Some of them joined
later
some of them
on. Yes.
joined later
After.
on.
Yes.
But at that moment, it was necessary for them to take the gospel to their lost.
Right.
So some of our parents got saved during the wartime because they were those pastors who dedicated their time.
Exactly.
So this church that we have today did not just happen out of nowhere.
Out of sacrifice.
Yeah, it's been a long journey.
Now,
and if these guys are around,
we ought to honor them.
We must really honor them.
Now you say something, and I wish and I wish this is something that our generation can understand. That your father is your father. You cannot choose a father. And it is you who mobilize the youth to go and meet the father. So we both agree that there is a gap. There's a gap between the youth and the elders.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from what you said, we both agree we cannot expect the leaders to come to us as a youth, as a father. You cannot say no. I want you are the one to come and apologize to me. I mean, I think this is something that we both agree in. Now, Shabab dem of Ruth Beamulshun, what are we supposed to do? Like Dor Bitanaka Shabab, our role as a youth. Because when we talk about honor and then we ask the fathers to take the step, that's a contradiction. All right. So what are we supposed to do now from a youth leader standpoint? What do we encourage youth to do to close to participate or to do something about that gap?
Let me talk about Elijah and Elijah in the Bible.
Yes.
I don't know about the exact age of Elijah, but I really want to assume that he was a young man.
Yes.
When he was following
Elijah. Yes, Elijah. Yes.
Now, this is, we agree there is a gap.
Yes.
The leaders or the elders in the church have a responsibility, and the youth have the responsibility.
Yes.
But we must not forget that you, the young man or a young woman, you who is a beneficiary, you have more responsibility.
Yes.
To play, so that you can get the mantle.
Yes. Yes.
Of your leader or of your pastor.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't really play your part,
you might lose it.
These men will die and go to heaven, and with all of his blessing.
Right.
There was a possibility Elijah the prophet was still going to go from one place to another until he would have been taken like this, whether Elisha followed him or not. You can remember there were a lot of prophets at that time.
The sons of the prophets.
Who didn't really care. But this young man knew what
he wanted.
So number one, with the young people, you've got to know what you want.
Right.
And when you know what you want,
you will know how to get it.
It is discovering the purpose of God in your life. Then you will begin to make an effort to get what you want, not by force, not by. You see, our leaders don't like you to come with force or disrespect. The moment you start showing disrespect,
they also close up. Yes,
you block the blessing. So most of the problem that we have in the church, okay, the youth are right, but how they approach the issue
is wrong.
is the problem.
Yeah.
So those at the top, they look at you, yes, you are right, but how you approach me also matters.
Yes.
So knowing what you want is very important. And then it is you to make a step to be close to your leader.
Yes.
You are the one to come close.
Yes.
So we have the responsibility to bridge the gap.
Yes.
A father can have 7 children, but he may even love all the children. But there is always one who is close.
Yes.
All 7 of you can decide to be close, and all of you can be close, and he can bless you. So being close to your leader is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And because when you are close to your leader, you can understand him or her much more better, and he can develop that interest of also coming close to you. And finally, when you know what you want, and then you have taken the step of being close to your leader, we must recognize that we need to serve.
Yes.
Sometimes serving God is by serving
a man of God,
your leader.
Yes.
To render to them the services that
you ought to
that they want. Elijah was serving Elijah would always send who was he sending?
Right.
He was sending his servant. He needed somebody to send. He needed somebody to mentor him, because mentoring sometimes involves giving assignments and
instructions,
and responsibility and instructions and all this.
Right.
So if you are not available, so that I give you some kind of responsibilities and all this, then I look for someone who is available. Now, so our leaders look for who is available. You have the responsibility
to avail yourself. Yes.
And be humble enough.
Yes.
To be positive for even a small assignment.
Thing,
Now our problem is we want to grow very fast,
very big,
and we want shortcut
process.
There are steps.
We want to escape process.
We want to jump the steps, and we find ourselves knocking head, and this creates more gap than bridging it. Of
course, 2 experts cannot share one room, and the issue of humility, it's really, really very important. And I want to ask you a question, but what you've just said right now is really profound. And if the young men can, and if we, the youth of this generation, will take this seriously, I'm sure we will close this gap as soon as possible while our fathers are still alive.
While they're still alive.
Exactly. Elisha got the mantle from Elijah, but then he died with the mantle because the younger generation missed it.
Gehazi.
You see that? Gehazi missed it. And this is the question that I want to ask. I always ask myself, if Gehazi came back and apologized for what he did genuinely, he repented, I'm sure Elisha could have forgiven him. There are youth today who have problem with their leaders. Some of them left the church. Some of them left the ministry. Some of them went and established their own thing. And they found themselves in the place they are stranded. They have realized, like the prodigal son, he went with all this, give me my own, I'm going, I don't need you and all that. And then he found himself in a place where he came to his senses, saying, now, I have to go back. Now, many youth today who have problem with their leaders, I've met few of them. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to come back. They don't know how to approach. Some of them tried once and they were blocked because of anger. You know that anger is still there. The leader is still angry. And I don't want to see you. I don't, all that. All right. And so, what will you tell these people to do? What should we do? Like, I'm just putting myself, if you just put yourself in that shoes, like, all right, the leader is still alive. but I have to make things right before it's too late. I've realized I'm wrong. But where do I start from?
Now you see that prodigal son
Right.
in the Bible.
Right.
The Bible say when he came to his senses,
Yes.
he said, I've got to go back.
Yes.
Now, coming into his senses is one thing. He started realizing his state of life now compared to how it is when
he was with the father. Yes.
In his father's son.
Right.
So the life is now very much different. When you come to your own senses, you've got to have change of heart. How can we be believers, Brother Oliver, if we continue to live in unforgiveness and bitterness and hate in one another? Because you have narrowed this to young people, let me address that side of the young people.
Right.
Although I really love to address both sides.
Both sides, yes.
Yeah.
You can address both sides.
With the young people, you have nowhere to go home. Even I have these fellow young people now who I spoke to one asthma, Arjafibet, you go back to your home. I'm not going there because those people have not changed. This pastor is still the same. He still preaches nonsense and all this. The point is, whether that place is good or bad, this is your home.
Yes.
So when you get out of there because of disagreement, you will be moving around looking for a place to call home. If you realize you don't get a place that you can call home, you just humble yourself, go back home.
Right.
Will you chase me if you are my pastor and I come back and I start attending service?
Of course not.
I start attending service. I come by fellowship, I pray, I go home. You start building a relationship. You don't come immediately. I'm coming here so that we solve that problem that we. This is a house of God and a house of prayer.
Yes.
You come back home and participate in prayer meeting in everything that God has given you. I'm sure the pastor will see around and recognize the change,
the commitment
in you,
yes,
the commitment in you. And then, because it is a broken relationship, so it has to be built again.
Yes, it takes time.
Yeah, it takes time to rebuild the relationship. For the sake of the leaders, these young people are afraid to come back because of how you are going to respond.
Exactly.
To them coming back. Some of them are afraid to come back because they think if I come back, I will be insulted.
I'll be insulted. I'll be humiliated.
I will be humiliated. Not privately.
Publicly
on the pulpit on Sunday service. So no young man or woman will want to be humiliated in public or in private. So this is the problem why they are afraid. So they find it difficult. The danger of not coming back and you have nowhere to go and call home, you are likely to backslide.
Yes.
And that is the sad reality. Most of them end up
backsliding.
In the world, backsliding.
Right.
Because you have no home. Leaders have to behave like the father of that prodigal son.
Of the prodigal son, yeah.
The Bible says when he came to his senses and he took the step of going back to his father.
And the father was waiting for him.
But he was really encouraged with how the father welcomed him.
Yes.
So the Bible is saying when he saw his son from afar, he was the one who ran.
Yes. Yes.
He was the one who ran. Sometimes you don't fold your hands and wait, let him come. I will show him. You are a shepherd and he is
It's
a
a
sheep.
sheep. Yeah.
So that father ran over to the son and surprised him. Even when he was saying, okay, I have sinned against you and against God. Don't call me, don't consider me as one of your servants. But
This was the effect of
father
sin.
was having a different response. I am just happy that you are back.
You are back.
And welcome. When a sheep, when a young man or a young woman saw the sign of coming back, your responsibility as a leader is not to look at them based on the mistake, based on what they have done wrong to you. For God's sake, they are coming back into the kingdom.
It takes a lot even to come back.
They are coming back into the kingdom. You should be celebrating and help them to recover. So both sides have a responsibility.
Thank you so much. So this is clear. Young man, come to your senses, take a step, come back home. The father, wait for them. When you see them coming, don't fold your hand. Run to them and welcome them back home. This is
so like this, the gap is bridged.
I wish we can talk more and more about this, but I'm afraid we're going to stop here. Thank you so much, Ebenezer, for passing by.
Thank you for having
My prayer is that God will give us another time so that we because now there are other I wanted to branch in some other ways, but God will give us another time.
We will really be back to talk more about this.
It has been an honor to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And today I've come to learn some things about you that are first time. I didn't know you were a journalist. God bless you, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Great. I wish you all the best, and I'm sure God will lift this podcast.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
To
Amen.
reach all over
Amen.
the world.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good night. All right. Space. 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 The longest.